comes to 3D games consoles, I go back quite a way. In fact, all the way back to the 3D Imager for the Vectrex. And of course, whose house would be complete without a Virtual Boy? And if you haven't played Wario on that, then you've really missed out. So when Nintendo announced the 3DS in 2011, of course, I had to pick one of those up. But I think, like a lot of people, over time, I ended up turning off the 3D effect because it just didn't work as often as it should do. Now, that didn't stop me picking up a lot of games, though. The 3DS has had lots of classic games over the last few years, and I've got quite a few of them. So when Nintendo announced a new 3DS with better 3D, of course I had to get hold of one of those, but then I noticed that it was only coming out this year, 2014, in Australia and New Zealand, and the rest of the world would probably have to wait until at least 2015, and I don't know how long that is going to be. It could be halfway through the year. So that meant I had to pick one up. I imported one. Importing games consoles is nothing new. I mean, people have done it for years. I've had a PC Engine imported and things many, many years ago. So I just thought I'd talk about it, explain what you get, what you don't get, and just a few of the pitfalls you might want to look out for. For example, no AC adapter in the box. Normally that's a bad thing, but it's a good one here because I won't be able to use it anyway, being an Australian one. What you do need is an adapter of some sort. I use a USB cable for charging my 3DS. That means I can charge it pretty much anywhere, and if I want to, I can plug it into a USB wall charger and charge it through that. Those are pretty easy to get hold of. I have already got a cradle for my 3DS XL, and we'll see later on if that works with this new model. So let's have a look inside the box, see what we get. Pretty simple packing here. All we've really got is the games machine, the AR cards, which no one's going to use, and this booklet here. Of course, being from Australia, we don't have to worry about different languages and things. One thing you don't get, though, is any kind of points. You know, if you buy a machine in the UK, you get these scratch-off cards with the points that go to the Nintendo Club. You don't get that with this Australian one. Now, inside this manual here mentions system transfer. I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be transferring my old 3DS XL's memory into this one, so I'll show you how that works out. And here it is. Here's the inside of it. As you can see, a bit of a shiny thing. Very hard to photograph these things because of the reflections and the way the screen comes across on the camera. It's pretty tricky putting this video together, but I've tried to do my best. Let's just have a look at it first of all. There's the usual button layout. There is the new C-stick thing at the top. Notice a little dimple in the top, the little indent where you put your thumb, so you can feel where your thumb goes on that. I think that's quite a nice little thing. It actually feels quite good. That it's much the same as those little mouse pointer things you get on the IBM or now the Lenovo laptops. That little thing in the middle there. Home button in the middle at the bottom on the new one. And we've got the start and select on the right hand side here. It's quite hard to photograph this black background and show you these things. This is the old 3DS XL. Notice the three buttons across the bottom and the power button on the right. I never liked those three buttons there. I thought they were a bit wobbly. The new one again, this is the extra triggers in the back. So we've got 4 on the back now, the corners and the 2 in the middle there. And if we look around the front here, you can see the headphone socket is in the middle, cartridge on the left. And just to the right headphone socket, that's where the stylus goes. It just pops in there like that. And then to the right of that, you can see we've got the power button and then the little LEDs for charging and Wi-Fi. Little microphone hole up there as well. Comparing it to the old one, that headphone socket on the left was always annoying. It used to stick into your palm when you were trying to use it. It was a terrible place to put a headphone socket. Stupid, really. I'm glad they've sorted that out. Also, looking at the old one, of course, we've just got the 2 shoulder triggers there, cartridge slot in the middle at the back on this one, and then the power supply just to one side, and of course the stylus comes out of the side of the old one rather than out of the front. So they've jiggled a few things around, all for the better. Another thing that's better, actually, is this one. Looking at the old one, when you lay it flat like this, you used to get a sort of the top screen tilted away from you. Whereas on the new one, notice it's all flat, and it feels a little bit firmer as well. It's not as wobbly. So that's an improvement. Also, another couple of things. The volume button is now on the top. The slider's on the top. It's a firmer one next to that little weird shaped speaker, which is a bit different. The old one used to have the volume at the bottom here, and I was always adjusting that with my hands when I was playing games and things and turning the sound up on the train, which was annoying for other people because I tend to listen to my headphones, listen to some music while I was doing it. Anyway, the bottom of this comes off. This is the new one, of course. Now, normally you wouldn't take a screwdriver to a Nintendo product, but you can swap those plates out. They're going to sell additional ones of those. We've got a larger battery in here, which should give you more power. I haven't tested that because, well, I haven't. And then in the middle here, that's where the micro SD card goes. It uses a micro SD in this one. The previous one used a full-size SD card. Now, it comes with a 4 gig in it. That's not going to be enough for anything if I'm storing games on it. So first thing I'm doing, before I even switched it on, I'm swapping it out for a 16 gig card. So I might, it's worth doing that before you even get going, because once you start saving things on it, you end up in a bit of a cul-de-sac. Right, so let's turn it on, get it going. First thing, it's got to remember, it's hard to show this on the camera because it looks weird on the screen. But look at my little sort of top screen there, face at the bottom right-hand corner of that. I'm moving it around and it's recognising where my head is in comparison to the screen. Now, I've got a tripod in the way and a camera and things. I've had to pop my head over and there's light. So it's confusing it a little bit, but that's how it does the better 3D. It knows where your head is and it adjusts it accordingly for your position. And believe it or not, it works. I mean, it works really well. It's amazing. But we'll get onto that in a minute. First thing is, I'm going to try and transfer my old machine into my new one. And plugging it into here, obviously it doesn't work. The little connectors are in a different position on this. So the old cradle for the 3DS XL won't work with the new 3DS. Right. Now, this system transfer thing, I've never tried it before. Massive palaver. You have to go through a lot of menus and you have to have both machines there, and you press something on one, then say yes on the other, then go back to the other one again, and you're jiggling them back and forth between your hands all the way through. There's a few weird messages come up that you have to think about as well. But what's happening is basically it's transferring all the data from your old machine to your new machine over a direct Wi-Fi connection between the two machines. Now, it mentions here, this is a weird question. Look at that. Can you I mean, you just don't know what to say to that. But the reason is, the old machine used the full-size SD cards. I think it was saying if you have a machine with micro SD, then you can just transfer the micro SD across. I don't. So what I had to do is transfer the whole contents of my micro SD wireless from the old machine to the new one. Notice it says it might take some time. It's not kidding. I mean, look at the time, 11:52, so just before lunchtime. Now, one thing I'd really liked here, this little animation that you get. I mean, it's something that quite a lot of people never see, and it's these little touches that are always good about Nintendo products, just daft little things like this, where you get the Pikmin and they're moving your data. This is supposed to be what's happening. They're moving the data from one machine to the other. They're picking it up. It's like, make it like a picture, put it back up, down again. But look at the time at the top right there, 4:08. Remember, I just started just before lunch, and this is the final bit now. 4:15 is when it finished. So my tip is, if you're transferring data from one machine to the other, first thing, make sure you've got a power supply for both machines because you'll need it. Now, the data came through perfectly, everything was there, all the save games were where I left them, everything was great. But what I should have done beforehand was prune down some of that content a little bit off that SD card, because I had 10 gigs on there and it took all that time to copy it. If I could have deleted a couple of games, it might have been worthwhile. But all that fuss is quickly forgotten about when you start playing games on the new 3DS, because the 3D effect is a revelation. It's outstanding. You'll never be able to experience what I'm looking at now without seeing one yourself in person. And I'm pretty sure as soon as you see one, you'll be amazed too, because they've really got it right this time. It stays locked to that 3D effect throughout. It's perfect. This was kind of the effect you used to get on the old 3DS when you move the 3D out of sync from your face, and the only way I'm getting it to happen on this is by hiding my face behind my tripod and my camera so it can't do its face tracking trickery. Now, one thing I did was adjust the auto brightness, turn that off and knock the screen brightness down to 4, because I found that auto brightness tend to pop the brightness up and down too frequently. One thing I am aware of course, these additional controls on here will see little use, because even though they work fine, there's very few games out there that utilise them. They are compatible with the games that work with the Circle Pad Pro, and as far as I'm aware, there was only a couple of games out there that use that accessory, one of which, of course, is Resident Evil, which I'm playing at the moment. But I found the controls really easy to use. I've seen people mention that they didn't really like this C stick. It felt a lot like pressing the eraser on top of a pencil. It's not like a proper joystick. It's kind of a resistive type device. But I had no problem at all using it within Resident Evil. And of course it worked in Super Smash Bros. As well. But yeah, I can't see many games using it. After all, how many people are going to have a new 3DS compared to how many have an original 3DS without those controls? You'd have to be daft to make a game just for the new people. One thing the new 3DS has, which I can't see many people using again, is a better internet browser. I don't know how many people view the internet on their 3DS, but if you happen to want to do that, or it's the only thing you've got to hand, then it works an awful lot better on this than it did on the old one. On the Verge, for example, notice how I can scroll down here and all the thumbnails pop in at the left-hand side, whereas if I do it on my old 3DS XL, it just doesn't look the same. Something's gone wrong. There's various scripts don't load up and those thumbnails don't appear. Now let's try some speed tests. I'm going to start Super Smash Bros. From the menu screen, get into the game and see how long it takes to get up and running, because the new 3DS is supposed to be quite a bit quicker than the old one as far as this kind of stuff goes. So let's have a look. Look at it on the left. That's the new one. And there you go. We've loaded up. Wait for the characters to move across the bottom of the screen. And I'll press the stopwatch and that's it. So we'll say 20 seconds for the new one to load up. The old one is still loading. We've only just got to this sort of ball animation spinning around here. And look at the timer on the left. We're still clocking on. Wait for the people to start appearing across the bottom of the screen. That's where I stopped the other one. There we go. So, what, about 37 seconds? So, 20 seconds versus 37. So, it's a lot quicker on the new one to get into games. Let's see how long it is to get out of them. So, we'll get out of the old 3DS version of Super Smash Bros. Here. We'll close it and get out as quickly as we can. What I'm trying to do is get back to the menu screen with all the icons at the bottom popping up, so I could therefore go in and do something else. So we've seen how long that takes, so we're still waiting. Got a blank screen now, not much happening at all. A bit of life, wait for it. I'm padding here if you can't tell. Still waiting for those icons to appear. There you go. Right, so what was that, about 28 seconds? Right, we'll try it again on the new 3DS. So here we go. And close, wait for it. Not going to have to wait long, that's it. It's about 7 seconds. So that's a lot more impressive than the old machine. It's good being able to get in and out of games quicker and move between different tasks. Now, even though I've imported this machine from Australia, there's no need to be concerned about incompatibility with UK games. It works with all the games I've got and also goes on the Nintendo store just as though I'd bought it in the UK. It's quicker as well at downloading demos. Notice it's took a minute to download this demo that's still downloading slowly on my old 3DS XL, and in fact that takes over twice as long at 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Now, one thing you'll notice on the box, it mentions the amiibo thing. In case you didn't know, the amiibo are these characters, these figurines that you can get, and the idea is they've got an NFC chip in the base. They work a little bit like a memory card crossed with some sort of accessory, so you put them into various games and they add extra features and things. For example, in Super Smash Bros., pop Mario on here, he turns up on the screen there. Now, as far as I was aware, the new 3DS, of course, has the amiibo functionality, and Super Smash Bros. Does, but nothing happens when you put Mario into the new 3DS version. Even though on the back of the Wii U one, it mentions amiibo everywhere, there's no mention of it at all on the 3DS box, so I'd have to think that's just going to come along in a future patch. So, if you want the new 3DS now, and not when Nintendo say you can have it, then I don't think there's much to lose in getting an Australian or New Zealand version yourself. Now, don't do what I did and import it directly from Australia, because that way you end up incurring extra import duty charges. What you should do, go to one of the links in the video description where I've put some details of UK eBay sellers that are selling this from within the UK, therefore you don't get those additional charges. The only other things you might need to think about are getting hold of some sort of power supply, maybe an extra micro SD card to bump up the memory a little bit. Remember, you're going to miss out on your Nintendo points and you're probably not going to get a full warranty either. But that's it for the moment. As always, thanks for watching.